This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. I'm a robot, okay?
Yeah, I could have emailed him, couldn't I? But someone decides to keep sending spam through my email account, so I go straight to junk, so no one responds. So I have to invite people by paper airplane. Cheers, cat. Call them up. No, I don't like talking on the phone. Hope to God that they get there. I'm not going to hope to God. I'm not going to, put my faith in that. I'm going to put my faith in something much stronger than that, cat. Video editing. Yeah, they'll get there. Don't worry. Excuse me a minute, I've just been walking. Hello everyone, welcome to Bill Making Stuff, episode 94. The Big Bot Bash. Yeah, Big Bot Bash, number 2. It's the second one we've done. What? You don't know what the Big Bot Bash is? Then you're just plain ignorant. Just plain ignorant. The Big Bot Bash is a YouTube collaboration where I try and wrangle up as many crafty YouTubers that I think you should watch and then make them make a robot using this junk bot generator that's in the link down below. Yeah, simple as that really. They have to roll dice and it determines what kind of bot they're going to make. And then we share every single video in a playlist down below so you can just go and watch them and think, oh, I've never heard of this channel. They're pretty good. I might subscribe to them. And it's not just for YouTubers. If you want to take part in the Big Bot Bash and you make yourself a bot using the junk bot generator, there's a lot of bots. Then post it on Instagram or YouTube or wherever. Facebook, if you really like Facebook. And then use the hashtag BigBotBash so I can find it and other people can find it, and we can all be like, we're all building together, even though we're all alone, so utterly alone. I'm going to spend a lot of time on this thing. There's something about working with other YouTubers who are really like creative and good at what they do that make you want to not be. So if you haven't heard from me for a while, hello, I'm still here. But let's roll and see what traits I get. I need dice. Dice. I don't have any dice. So here we go. This is the junk bot generator. This is the thing I made last year. I'll probably make a new one next year, but what you have to do is roll with D20 and it kind of gives you little things that inspire you to build things. And so look, you'll see. So basically D20, we're going to do body first, and we got 14, which means seen better days. So you can interpret these results however you like, and it's just supposed to inspire you, really. So head, I've got cute and round, nice, like that. For the arms, we got 11, which is too many arms. For hands, we got 1, which hands are hard. The one I didn't want, really. For legs, we have 16, which is weak legs, kind of like me, really, I think. I just sit down a lot. 5 for flavour, which is mouldy, which is interesting. We can do something mouldy, fungusy, mouldy. Interpret it however you like, and then go bash your bot. That's basically how it works. So you know me, I like to sketch some ideas down before I start building something. So that's what we're going to do. So body is seen better days. We have head, which is cute and round. Arms too many. Hands are hard. Combined with too many arms, that's going to be a pain. Legs are weak, and flavour is mouldy or mouldy. I don't know, it's spelt differently in England than the US, but let's just doodle. I mean, cute and round, that's easy. I do that a lot. Too many arms, we could have, I guess that means as many arms as I like. I'm thinking 6 at a push, probably 4. And hands are hard. If I have 6 arms, that means 6 hands, which I don't really fancy doing. Weak legs, nice and easy. I'm thinking some sort of legs with a little point that it kind of balances on. And I want the whole body to be like it used to serve a purpose, but it doesn't anymore. Maybe it serves something else. Maybe it's busted. It's seen better days. Something with mould in it and fungus. I'm looking forward to mould and fungus. I haven't really made mould and fungus on here before, so that's what we're going to do. I went on a little journey and I did a little doodle on a train, and I thought, you know, that's kind of what I want it to look like. A bit of mould and fungus there. And I thought, you know, I'm not going to draw it again. I'm just going to stick them in the book. That's kind of what sketchbooks are for, just in case you didn't know. There we go. So I'm thinking something like that. And yeah, I just got to build it now. So this video is sponsored by Squarespace. Now, Squarespace is a website where you go to make websites. Now, if you have no idea how to make a website, you don't know how to deal with a HTML, is it HTML? I'm not sure. And you just want to make a website about things like, you know, like a pickle website, for example. Like, yeah, like that, like Pickle Perfection. That's it, Bill. Click there. If you just want to make a website that's quick and easy and clean and nicely designed, then go to Squarespace. I made this website in, like, you know, it must have been like 0.5 seconds. Maybe a little bit longer, I'm not sure, but it was really easy and it looks pretty good, and I will add stuff to it at some point. But yeah, if you want to make your own website, there's a sale going on at Squarespace. There's a little link down below. Go and have a look. So let's start with the body that's seen better days. I feel like I'm just describing myself, really. Lots of bottles and round things. I like my body to be round. Not me personally, but my you know what I mean, my robot. So I'm just getting lots of little lids and bottles and just kind of see which ones sort of go together. Like that kind of goes together. This is what scratch builders like to call dry fitting, is when we kind of get two things and rub them together and position them into where you would stick them to see if they look good if you stick them together without sticking them. You know what I mean? It sounded much more interesting in my head before I actually just told you what it is. But yeah, always dry fit your stuff. A lot of scratch building is just dry fitting. A lot of time off camera I'm just rubbing bits of plastic together. Another very important thing I think a lot of people forget to do is to prep your plastics. You know, plastics don't really stick to things. You need to sand it down, you need to like blast it with a little blowtorch, things like that. You know, all these little prep things that help paint and glue stick to it. It gives it some tooth. Just make sure you've got the window open and like a gas mask on when you're burning things, especially plastic. There we go. I'm not going to repeat that because I'm going to burn a lot of plastic this episode. So yeah, just remember, whenever I'm burning plastic, there's no window in this workshop, fair enough, but I do have a gas mask on. I'm just saying. So there we go, that is like a basic body. I'm happy with that. We need some shoulders now, I think. I don't know if they're actually shoulders or just some big things sticking out the side of it to kind of balance it out a little bit. I've got some little Kinder Egg eggs. I think these are Kinder Egg ones. I can't remember. There's no point asking you Americans, you're not allowed these anyway. Naughty. If you're sticking a round thing to a round thing, you've got to kind of cut a little curve into it. Now that's not an exact curve. I don't know what I've done there. It kind of looks like it fits, which is good enough for me. And I'm just going to fill the gap with some baking powder. Some of you may be asking, like, Bill's been very helpful today in this video. He's providing lots of tips. Yeah, well, that's because there could be some new eyes watching this channel. You know, it's the Big Bot Bash, a collaboration with lots of other channels. So I figured, you know, I could provide some tips that I probably provided to you lot 100 times up to now. This is a spray bottle part. It's that little part in there. Lots of really good parts in a spray bottle, but they don't really stick very well to anything because I suppose they're supposed to contain chemicals or whatever. But if you get some of this EVA foam, which is like cheap craft EVA foam, bit of super glue, use it as like a filler between the plastics, and it bonds really well to other plastics. Just basically remember, a bit of EVA foam between two bits of plastic makes it really strong. Super glue loves EVA foam for some reason. Now that's a pretty solid bond. Just try it yourself. Helpful Bill here. There's another part of a spray bottle. I've used that so many times. I love that little part. It's the little bit that goes on top. I always use it as windows for spacecrafts. I've just stuck it on the back of this thing. Don't know why. I just kind of like the shape it makes. So we're nearly ready for some legs, I think. So I'm just going to stick a little bit of EVA foam here, just so the legs will stick to the hips. That's handy, you know. You do want that, especially in old age. And we're going to use these these are from a spray bottle. This is like a spray bottle build so far. I haven't used a spray bottle in a long time, but I've used them a lot in this episode for some reason. I think so. I just had my spray bottle box open. I do have a whole box full of spray bottle parts. Anyway, I'm using EVA foam again there. Look, see? It works. It works. And look at this, look how professional I look. Drawing little dots where I'm going to drill holes. I don't normally do that, that's just for show. We're going to drill holes into these hips so I can attach an armature wire in there. I always like to have armature wires through the arms and legs, otherwise they just fall apart. Call me weird. This sounds really terrible, but my wife made me a bead bot using, I don't think she used my techniques because, yeah, it's on the shelf and it's kind of fallen apart. It's got the head and one arm left and a body. And I don't think she ever used armature wire or any of these techniques I'm telling you. I don't think she watches my videos, but I do appreciate it. It's really nice, but I'm basically looking at it now and using it as an example as to how not to make a robot. She doesn't watch this, it's fine. When you have an armature wire, you can basically thread little tubes onto it to be the legs. And these are a couple of little beads here we're going to use as like little knees. And wooden beads are the best, I think, because you can drill holes in them and you can shape them to whatever you want. It's always at this point I like to stick the thing in a base. I like to get the thing on a base as soon as possible because then it just makes it a bit easier to build. This is an old coaster I got from a charity shop. I always go to charity shops, clear them out of wooden coasters because they make really good bases. These are some orchid wood chips. I think they're called orchid something. I don't know, they make really good rocks. I'm not too fussed about my base, to be honest with you. I'm more worried about the robots. I just want to get something down that maybe I can work on later. But there we go, there's a rocky base. So for the weak legs, I'm going to use these little metal cone bead things and stack them up. I did see this technique on a Studson Studio video. Hopefully he'll never see this. What? Oh, he's in the collaboration. Yeah. This is a like a homage to Studson Studio, these legs. Yeah, homage. So let's stick it in a base, and I think that's about it for the legs and the body, without all the details, obviously, that comes later. And here is my basic silhouette. Unnecessary animation there, but you know me. Time to do some arms. We're going to make the arms basically the same way we made the legs, only we're going to thread the armature wire all the way through the body so it's extra strong. I'm still looking at my wife's bead bot for inspiration. This will be the one video she watches. Anyway, I decided to go with 4 arms because I'm not completely insane. Once you see how I make the hands, you'll understand. We're going to use a few of these little round beads as like shoulders. And if you don't already have some tubes, you can always take some old little felt tip pens that your kids have kind of used or not used, and just take the little bits outside, and there you go, you've got a couple of plastic tubes. I've got a box full of plastic tubes, but just in case you don't have any plastic, there's plastic tubes everywhere. Tubes everywhere. Look, there's some more. Old permanent markers, felt tip pens, lots of tubes. I'm going to stop talking about tubes. Now, I don't know about you, but when I design robots, I don't like them to have big biceps and skinny forearms. I like it to be the opposite. I like there to be big forearms and skinny upper arms, which is weird because in humans that looks absolutely bizarre, doesn't it? You always want the upper arm to be bigger than the lower arm. But in robots, it seems fine. That's just my aesthetic. Not in human arms, obviously. Now we're going to make a head. Cute and round is what I drew for the head, which is perfectly fine for me because that's kind of the heads I always make. Anyway, my wife has a cute round head, which is probably why I chose her. This is some conduit tube. I'm just trying to butter up, in case she watches the video, and I've talked about a bead bot. We used a bit of conduit wire there for a neck. I'm losing my trailer for hands. That's it. We've got to do hands. Oh, we've got to do hands. Hands are hard. They're hard to build, they're hard to draw, they're hard for AI to get their head around. Like, their hands are just hard. And I've got to make 4 of them, which could be worse. Could be worse. Still pretty bad though. Took me a little while to think about what sort of hand I should make in this video. I think I should make like your basic hand, which is kind of like this little technique I come up with. So you need like a little bit of wood, like the end of a popsicle stick or a lollipop stick, some wires, another bit of popsicle stick, lollipop stick, and sandwich them together like that. And once that's done and it's all glued and stuck in place, your hand's not going to fall apart. Now you can just play with some beads like this and just make your fingers as long or as short and stubby as you like. That's how I make hands. Now the best thing about this technique, same with the arms and the legs with an armature wire, you can bend them into position later on. You can glue them now, but you just give them a little bit of force and they will bend into any position you want, and then you can glue them in place. Just trim the nails, make sure you trim the nails, and then I just have to do that 3 more times. You don't have to, obviously, that's what editing's for. Here we go, I've already done it. This is what I did earlier, for hours. And there we go, that's my hands. The arms are in kind of the position I want them to be. I can always move them around later. And I think we're good. That is the silhouette. That is the basic build done. Now it's just the fun bit, the greebly bit. Well, hello there, me again, Bill again. This is the part of the video where I tell you to like and subscribe and comment and all that stuff. You know, all this, the beggy stuff, which the stuff that makes me feel good about myself. But no, in all honesty, I just want to thank all the patrons that support this channel, the patrons that kept me going. I could spend a whole month making a silly little robot because of these patrons. Now, if you like to support the arts, I don't like calling it the arts, the crafts, you like to support the crafts, then consider joining Patreon. It's the only way we can kind of keep these channels going. And not just me, anyone else in this playlist, if you like their stuff and you want them to keep going, consider supporting their Patreon, because it's the only way we can keep going and doing what we do. If you like what we do, you want us to keep doing it, consider joining Patreon. I currently have the Big Bot Bash going on my Patreon at the moment, and next episode I'm going to show you all of their builds, which is some impressive stuff there. If you get in there quick, you could probably get a build in before my next episode. So all I'm really saying, if you like this channel or any other channel like it and you want to keep it going, consider supporting them on Patreon. A couple of quid a month. If you had a really good channel and I was watching it every couple of weeks, I'd probably support you. So, you know, just keep that in there. Think about that. Well, you have got a channel. Yeah, I'll check it out later. Yeah. So the act of greebling, people still say greebles. I mean, I did say greebles for a long time. Basically, it's just to add detail. What we have so far is the skeleton, the silhouette of the thing. I just want to add a load of mechanical details, make it look more robotic. I'm not sure where all these little bits came from. I think some of these bits are from old Gundam kits, but I'm not going to list what all these bits are. You know, you could just collect interesting plastic shapes, little things, and keep them in a box. And then when it comes to greebling, you can just get out your little box, can't you? But you know, basically, you're just trying to make the thing look more detailed. These are plastic toothpicks that I don't know, I use them a lot, I think. Not for picking my teeth because I'm British, but for just adding weird little pipes here and there. They've got nice little ridges on them. I've used these things lots of times. These are old LED lantern lights for a Christmas tree. I don't know where the lights have gone, but I've still got these little things, and they've got these little things inside. Yeah, sorry, very descriptive. Things within things, but they make cool little elbow pads and shoulder pads. It's very hard for a scratch builder to be descriptive when you're narrating the greebly part of the build, because you can never remember where you got any of the parts from, and you're basically just picking parts that look cool. So I think I'm just gonna, you know, let the music play and let you just enjoy me greeblying this thing up. I think, yeah, I'll be quiet now. There we go. I think I've been quiet long enough. Maybe not long enough for some people, but long enough for me. That's some greebling. That's some good greebling. I think we can do more. I found all these little toy parts. A good place to get greeblies is charity shops. Just look in the charity shops, the toys section. You find all sorts of weird little plastic crap that no kid's going to want. Well, they're going to want it because they want everything, but you know they don't want it. They don't need it. That's the word. They don't need it. We need it. The scratch builders, the grown-ups. I don't know what that is. It looks cool though. Always grab me some exhaust from toy trucks and charity shops. Always a good thing to have. Quite a pain to build, to be honest. And this thing, I think, is from GW. So this is technically a Games Workshop video. I can stick a Space Marine in the thumbnail. We are getting closer. I think we are getting closer to being greebled. I mean, I still got to do the face, and we could do with some lumps. This body could need some lumps, you know. These are just little hemispherical wooden beads. I'm just going to stick in random places just to break up those big smooth areas. Blemishes. I want this bot to have some blemishes, and these are little googly eyes for extra blemishes. My one gripe with using googly eyes on a build is that whenever you pick it up now, forever and ever, it's going to rattle, and you're always going to think there's something broken, but no, it's just the googly eyes. You can't get in there and stop them from rattling. But anyway, this is a hair curler. I like using hair curlers a lot. I don't need to use them in my hair because my hair is naturally wavy, but they have really cool. They have really cool little grill bits. Look, see. So it's normally at this point we come to the wire stage of my build. I do all the greeblies and then I have to add wires everywhere. Now, technically you wouldn't have wires exposed on a robot, but this robot's seen better days. You know, I'm following the brief. But I just like wires. Wires look cool, don't they? Little thin ones and thick ones just all over the place. Wires are cool. And sometimes that's enough, unless you're trying to attract a partner. Being cool isn't enough. It's not sustainable. One day they will hear you fart. Get it done early. That's my advice to you. Fart early. They stick around. They're a keeper. They might make you a beadbot one day that falls apart on a shelf. This is some more EVA foam. We're going to just add some metal plates all over the whole thing, because that's what I do. I do the wires, then the metal plates. Basic build here. Basic build. A Bill's basic build. Both work. If you want to be fancy pants, you can get one of these scissors that cut in a little pattern and they make different shaped panels. Look, see, that kind of works. That looks pretty good. And some eyes. These are just temporary eyes. I must warn you, they're not going to look like that, like novelty sunglasses. I'll add some eyes later on, but that's later on. For now, let's. I think it's rivet time. Never gets old, never gets old. It's the Keanu Reeves of video editing techniques, I think. Here we go, all riveted up. I think now we need to just take all our good work and destroy it. This is a pyrography tool. You use this to kind of carve into wood, to melt wood, not melt wood, burn wood, but we're going to use it to melt plastic. So make sure you've got your little respirator, open the window that doesn't exist, and yeah, hold your breath. And there we go. The kids slept really well that night. I'm not sure why, but they just went straight to bed. I think we're nearly ready for paint, but before that, I want to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of crust. I'm going to use a bit of Mod Podge. You can just use some PVA glue. I know this stuff is more like a sealer, but I just had some handy, but PVA glue would work. And some baking powder, or any aggregate is the technical word for it. Any grit, sand, you can use anything really. But baking powder has that nice consistency. Plus I always have lots of it on hand. can hear you now. Bill, what have you done? What have you done? You've spent all that time, putting all that work in, and you've just destroyed it. Yes, is the answer. Yes, I have. But let's just paint it anyway. Prime time. So, it's time to paint, and as we all know, paint time with Bill is boring time with Bill. Boring time with Bill is story time with Bill. But before that, I just want to say I gave it a quick Zenithal spray with grey from above, black from underneath, a bit of a dry brush, and a nice big rusty wash. There we go. That's all the painting techniques you're going to get from me. Now let's make up some little story for this bot. So all my regular viewers know whenever I build something, I like to add a little story, like provide a little bit of lore behind the build. And it all exists in the Gutterlands, which is a made-up world by me. Please don't leave. Yeah, I've made up a world called the Gutterlands where all of my builds live, and there's stories, and they're all interconnected, and they all bump into each other once in a while, you know, that kind of thing. There's a website called thegutterlands.com, you can see it down below. But anyway, this thing was what it used to be, like a utility bot, used to work for the humans in the town of Respite. I imagine it was essentially a walk-in furnace. You would walk along picking up bits of metal and just debris and waste, and it would kind of burn it inside its own furnace and kind of spew out like molten metal, stuff that can be used. That's what it used to do, until one day it got the call from the plant. The plant is an AI machine that lives deep underground, way north of Respite, that kind of calls to all robots all over the whole planet and calls for them to come and aid it in its conquest against all things organic. Basically, it recruits robots by changing their AI and makes them into bad robots. It does this by sending out a signal that only robots and AI units can hear, and it calls them towards it. Sometimes they ignore the call and they continue doing what they're supposed to be doing. Sometimes they go a bit rogue and they join the Striders. Now this bot was intercepted before it got to the plant by the Striders, and it joined the Striders for a while. The Striders are a group of robots that they're like bikers. They like to roam around doing whatever they like. They don't want to work for the humans, they don't want to work for the plant. They're just, you know, rebels, tough guys, tough bots. One day, the bot went a little bit too far north. It ended up finding itself in the caustic clump. Now, the caustic clump is a jungle, a toxic jungle full of spores and fungus that just goes on as far as the eye can see. It's an absolutely massive toxic jungle that's kind of almost taken over the landscape. The plant hates it, the meat mountain hates it, they try and keep it at bay. The humans are well away from it, so they're okay. But it ended up wandering in there one day and got lost for several weeks. Eventually it found its way out, and the furnace inside its body had stopped working, and it was basically full of spores and fungus, toxic spores and fungus that would just spread wherever it went. Anywhere it went, fungus and spores were left on the ground, in the trees, in the rocks. So it was just basically spreading the caustic clump. So the Striders had to send him away. So with nowhere left to turn, the bot decided to go and sabotage the plant by joining the plant, by offering its services and spreading the spores and the fungus, destroying all its machinery. But the plant was kind of smart to it and destroyed the bot before he could get anywhere close. But that wasn't the end of it. It can be seen in the waste, just wandering around, spreading spores and fungus wherever it goes, and it's just known as the malady. People are not sure if the AI unit is still there or if it's just been controlled by the fungus, but whatever it is, if you're a human or a robot, just don't go anywhere near it. That's the malady, everyone. Now it's time to do an oil wash. There we go. Oil wash. Yay. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're just about to ask me. Where is the mould, Bill? Where's the mould? You'd be surprised how many times people have asked me that. Well, it's coming, all right? We've had story time. Now it's mould and fungus time. Now, I did have to go outside and just do a little bit of research, find bits of mould on walls and, you know, taste it, smell it, kind of just get samples and just kind of figure out what is mould? What does it do? You know, what does it look like? What sort of colours is it? And then just, you know, just general research, stuff like that, you know? I don't remember any of it, but we're just going to improvise and make some mould. I've got some of this moss stuff. We could probably use some of this. I did go a bit mad and purchased every kind of colour of lichen that I could find, which I usually hate lichen. Never looks good. Never looks good on a build, but you can probably fit it in. These are little craft pom-poms. Now I thought little mould spores. We could use this for mould spores. I might have figured out a good technique for mould spores. So, you know, hope you're glad you stuck around. This is kind of like a 3-stage mould process. It's like I'm trying to sell you mould. We're going to start with some crusty yellow mould that just kind of covers the whole thing, using a bit of sawdust, Mod Podge and some yellow paint. Nice, like crusty mustard. Again, I know what you're thinking, Bill, you're ruining all your work. You've even painted it and you're still continuing to ruin it. Look, trust me, I'm sure it'll be fine. I always have in my head, I'm sure it'll be fine in the end. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Now we need some mushrooms, some fungi, mushrooms. We're going to use little bits of wire and some hot glue. This is the old way people used to do it. And I'm going to use a little wooden bead at the end. And I'm not sure if I like the big mushrooms. I did make some smaller ones with smaller beads, which look better. But you know, you don't know until you paint them. So let's give them a quick prime, shall we? Not great mushrooms. They're okay, but I think a little bit of dry brushing with white and some oil wash or something. They look fine in the end. Look, I've already just spent weeks building a big robot, and I can't devote that much time to building a mushroom. Hopefully they'll look okay. You can probably sense some panic in my voice at the moment. It's because, you know, I mean, this is a risky part of the build. Okay, so mushrooms, weird mushrooms done. I mean, it looks okay. I like the fact that he's kind of looking at some mushrooms on his wrist, like, what's this? Pom-poms. I picked all the white pom-poms out of my bag. I never used pom-poms. I always thought they're kind of like a useless crafting product. But we'll see. I'm going to mix a little bit of Mod Podge up with some, just basically dirty up with a little bit of coloured paint. And we're just going to dip these things in here and just stick them about. Look, they already look like little mould spores anyway, don't they? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not panicking. I mean, are you panicking? It's fine. It should be fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. It's fine. I'm not going to ruin my build. It's absolutely. I mean, that looks all right, doesn't it? I mean, I'm fine. It's all good. It's all good. There we go. Mould spores. I think they look all right. And maybe since I bought so much of the this stuff, I should probably put a bit of this in there as well. I'm kind of happy with that. I'm kind of happy. It looks mouldy. It looks pretty manky. Quite a lot of detail. Maybe too much detail. It doesn't matter. Let's do the eyes, and you can be the judge of that. You can comment down below. Too detailed? Too much going on? Yeah, let me know down below. What do you think of my mould and fungus techniques? It's kind of growing on me. That's not a pun. What it is, unintentionally, but it's, you know, it wasn't meant to be a pun. Anyway, let's call it a day. Look at it. Look at this monstrosity. I think I kind of like it. I don't know. I'm not sure. That doesn't really matter. What matters is, do you like it? Do you think I've gone a bit too crazy with the detail? Comment down below. But thank you for watching the Big Butt Bash. Now go and watch everyone else's contributions in the playlist down below. There's lots of good channels there that you may never have heard of, and you may discover, and you may like them better than me. I haven't thought about this. Anyway, I want to make this an annual thing, I think. There's not a lot of big collaborations on YouTube. You know, they're the best way to find other channels you may never have heard of, I think. So we're going to keep it going. And it's a community thing, isn't it? It's community. Community. Our community. The community. This is my community in here. And him. You know what I mean. Community, though. There's a playlist in the description down below. Please watch every video in there. And keep checking it throughout the week. There's going to be more videos added throughout the week because there's some YouTubers who are a bit slower. You know, time delays in different countries. And maybe they just have like real jobs to do. Things like that. So their videos are going to come a little bit later. And there's some people that couldn't do it. And there's some people that just decided to make a video about a 3D printer instead. Each to their own. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Glamour shot coming up. I think that's about it. Bye-bye. And there we go. That's Big Bot Bash number 2. Hopefully I'll make another one next year if enough people like this video. That's the melody. We called it the melody. It's a walking melody for the fungus and molds, and I hope you enjoy it. Let me know down below if you did. Now, once you've watched this video, go watch everyone else's video in the collaboration. The whole point of the Big Bot Bash is to get people, you know, making bots, obviously, but also to introduce you to smaller channels than my own. And sometimes even bigger channels that I think are really cool that you should go and subscribe to. People that are kind of similar to what, you know, do things that are similar to me, which is the whole point. You know, when I was trying to make YouTube videos, I was trying to find channels just like the channels I like, and it's not that easy to find. So that's the whole point. I hope you enjoyed. Go watch the rest. And thank you, patrons. Sorry for shouting. I got a little bit excited at the end there. Patrons, thank you for keeping me going. I love you all. And if you like this channel, consider joining Patreon. Goodbye.